Hey guys, welcome to Nerdarchy, for nerds by nerds. I'm Ted, hanging out with the full contingent today.
I'm Nate.
Dave.
Ryan.
And today we're going to bring you some fast and dirty monsters. So, Nate, you got an idea for us here?
Okay, it was kind of inspired originally from the Wheel of Time series. There's this creature in it that I don't remember its name and I don't remember a lot about it, but it creeped me out when it came up. And it was,
was it humanoid? I think it was humanoid.
But,
All right, well,
all I know is it munched on those Aes Sedai when it could munch on them. So that was like a big deal. It's like, wow, this is crazy.
That's tasty.
All right, so we're making a flying magic-eating monster.
Yeah.
Affectionately referred to as
The Mage Eater.
So we got to come up. We got to come up with its real name, but for the purpose of this video,
Mage Eater.
It's a Mage Eater.
I like Mage Eater.
Yeah.
It'll have some dark, mysterious, arcane sounding name.
Two bards will do like a song about it, and then they'll Hall and Oates will write the song Mage Eater. Yeah, exactly.
All right, so
here she comes.
I'm viewing I'm viewing this thing as a creature that tends to fly over areas. It looks kind of like opalescent and blends in and hides in the sky, scouring for prey.
So it has like a chameleon power.
Right.
It's a solitary hunter.
Yes.
Definitely.
So it looks for lone mages to shut down and devour.
So it eats magical energy, magical practitioners, and magic items.
So all things that are not good for your
Would it actually eat the magic items, or would it just
siphon them out?
It would probably
kind of like have it by it as kind of...
It weaves them into a nest.
Well, no, it might be able to drain out.
Yeah.
That might be what it needs for reproduction.
That's
so
interesting.
So maybe
Just having it around.
Maybe its layer is layered with magic items for breeding purposes or mate attracting purposes.
It may be able to draw the energy out of the items
over time.
Yeah. It's it can devour it.
So maybe, or you might just want to leave it. Like it depends on if you really have your heart set on breaking the magic items or not.
Right.
But like the idea is perhaps it eats the life essence of people that wield magic,
right?
Which could be magical creatures or people that cast spells. Probably, I think more arcane though, not necessarily divine.
Mm-hmm.
So warlocks and sorcerers and wizards are all on the menu.
Eldritch Knight,
tasty.
Can't forget about
Eldritch Knight, Arcane Trickster.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Every class has a mage now. Aspect to it.
Monks of what way of the elements?
All right, so what do we see going on here? We're talking about having it have some kind of horn that releases a cone attack that negates magic.
What's it look like? I mean, you said like the skin coloration. Does it almost what about like almost like a legless newt? With
I can get down with that.
With its
protruding horn thing.
But maybe instead of a protruding horn, more of it maybe it's more like almost like a rhinoceros.
I'm imagining
the tip of the nose.
I'm imagining it more streamlined and straightforward. Like
what about
a swordfish or
boar tusks or something instead of just a single horn?
I'm seeing it like the prow of a ship or like an airplane, like how aerodynamic, and like it could like weave through the air, sort of thing, like as it flies.
Okay, so it uses it for. Now, does it actually have wings, or does it just fly? Is it a flying snake newt thing?
I like it having wings personally.
Yeah. Okay.
Whenever you've got a creature that literally consumes magic, you are what you eat. So I'm totally viewing this thing as a DM just chock full of magical ingredients.
What if instead of having normal style wings like a regular bird wing, it actually can flatten itself out, so it has like these kind of like interior bone or whatever structure that makes it kind of like a flat.
So
like gliding
isn't there snakes that do that?
Well, there's snakes that glide down to the ground that way.
Yeah.
So they don't really fly. This one would actually fly. Like
a cobra hood.
Maybe it can levitate and then actually just
like a stingray. Like so, it might look more like a stingray in that shape.
Yeah,
so
the flat. So when it's not flying, it could be more of a, more streamlined kind of newt-esque looking thing, and then when it wants to fly, it spreads itself out and
I like that.
And levitates and kind of weaves through the air.
Makes it unique looking and a little creepy-esque.
Yeah.
So it's going to have detecting type, spell-like abilities.
Yeah, it's going to have to detect magic. It's going to have to be able to find mages and find magic items. So I don't know what else you could have besides detect magic that will do that.
It's going to have a chameleon effect to blend in, to the sky.
Mm-hmm. Which would just be basically
advantage on stuff.
The other thing is, one of the things that's so terrifying about it is it has permanent non-detection. It's immune to scrying. You can't use magical means to find it.
Right.
Yeah, it's like a stealth vessel against magic.
Yes.
It's like it puts off some anti-satellite sonar type of stuff.
So are we going to have the horn ray effect, the cone effect, to be more of a like beholder shuts down everything, or are we going to give like a concentration check to be able to cast spells within the horn's
I like
ray?
I like both. What do you guys?
Depends how dickish you want to be with it, really. Like
Maybe the elder versions of these.
You know what?
Can shut them down.
I think it's like it's actually becomes worse than the beholder's eye because of in the sense like the beholder has to actually look at you and open its eye to do it, and it can't use its own magical attacks
On you.
Right. So well, maybe you could do that because our other idea is it's almost like there's certain snakes that can actually charm birds and stuff. It's kind of how they hunt.
Right.
Is they charm the bird, and then when the bird is kind of like dazed, it gets them.
Right.
So like this kind of does the same thing with mages. Well, maybe it has to shut down its anti-magic in order to do that.
So it gets in close and then drops the magic, the anti-magic, and then slams them with
this charm attack where all they can do is stand there and drool.
Now, would it do a sit there and charm, or is it even more violent going for like a grapple like a snake?
Well, at first it charms you, and then when you're just sitting there, then it wraps you.
All right.
As long as you can attack something while it's, that's what I was thinking is like something stronger, like an enthrall or something that's going to make it so you kind of just are chill with whatever it's going to do to you.
Well, here's the thing, right? Once it grapples you, it turns the anti-magic back on.
If it can turn it on and shut it down as a free action.
All right. So now the next question is if it's totally trying to envelop humanoids, is it large?
It's got to be large.
It's got to be large.
And so like the process of its constriction isn't just the fact that it's constricting you. It's actually absorbing your life essence while it does it. It doesn't physically eat them.
Right. Yeah.
It based osmosis right through the skin.
Well, okay. So this thing doesn't even need a mouth then, really? Like it could not have a mouth. That'd be kind of creepy.
Yeah, that would be really
it could be
creepy.
mouthless.
Yeah.
All right. So here's another crazy thing. As in lieu of doing damage, can it drain spell slots?
You could. It's a weird mechanic that's not really supported anywhere else.
We could just make it.
Yeah.
Well, that's true, but so what is
Like,
it? Once you get to 0 spells, you're dead?
I think it should do like necrotic, like somehow how some undead slam you with damage and you just don't have those hit points for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
I think it should do the same thing, and if you go to 0 spell slots, you're
gone.
yeah.
By this thing. So
Well, yeah, and you're not just gone, you're eradicated.
right.
So, but you want to do spell slots? I like hit points better.
I feel like hit points are just going to chew through a mage pretty quick.
I think spell slots are going to be just as fast depending on how you do it.
Well, it depends on
Could
what
be like
levels-
a D4 per round or something like that.
D4 spell levels?
Spell levels, yeah.
I think that is incredibly drastic. Oh, you're a first level. You're
Yeah, but
Well,
is it really, if you're high level, D4 is nothing.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, yeah, for a first level person should just run, and because they're just going to get eaten.
That's
by
true.
the thing.
That's true.
Depending on the CR,
We're probably thinking this like as a CR5 or
but
something like that.
we're
5
modeling off of a CR4, which we haven't told you guys about yet, but that's okay. We're modeling off a CR4, and if you individually had to fight a CR4 as a first level character,
You're also dead.
what's going to happen?
DM really
You're
wanted to kill
boned.
you.
Actually,
Your GM hates you. It's really-
yeah. So at least with this, you could actually survive the first round off of D4.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, because what do you get? 3 slots, 2 slots?
You get two
depending upon what kind
first
of
level.
caster you are.
I mean, as a wizard, you get 2 first level slots at first level.
Yeah, it's all 2. I think
Okay.
it's uniform. So yeah, if you roll 1, you survive to round 2. Well, most monsters that are CR4, I think they do enough damage to end most characters outright. So, so going off of that, but
It wouldn't have much means to harm the other party members too, like as we've built it thus far.
yeah.
If it doesn't have a bite attack, like.
Well, I would imagine
It really is an opportunist. If there's a group, it might not even attack a group.
Yeah.
Well, no, it wouldn't make sense. Yeah, see, I mean, it could attack with its horn though.
Yeah,
If it gets desperate.
It could
Yeah.
impale
I would
people.
say it could have a horn attack to literally impale, and it could also go for a grapple and a quote unquote crush.
Could do that. I mean, so that's why I kind of like. I would like to handle it as basically life drain for undead. That it doesn't. It could use it on someone else, but it just doesn't nourish them. So
Okay.
so they're disinclined to go through the effort of using.
So-
it
What if
on-
they've got to do it? They'll do it.
Yeah.
So if
I just
so-
don't like the life drain on spell slots mechanic. It's weird.
okay, well I liked it as something unique.
But the part of that I agree with Dave is that it would require some kind of play testing to make sure it's not just ridiculously weak or super strong.
That's true. So is there anything else that we need to give this thing?
Constriction attack, right?
Yeah.
Are we going for that?
So we
That's-
could look at snakes, for that.
Or
Snakes
what
are-
about
I'm
that
looking at-
monster you're open to, Ted? Does it have a
Does it-
constrict?
It does not.
I'm
Oh,
thinking-
actually, it does. Yeah, look at that.
Seems like it should.
2d6 plus 3 bludgeoning, and the target is grappled. DC 15. Until the grapple ends, the target is restrained and can't constrict another target.
So, like,
That's
we would
decent.
probably take that damage and add, like, a D6 to it. Or 2d6. Or we could even just play with the dice that are there and make it partially constricting and partially absorption.
Right.
Yeah.
Or it could just do extra damage to spellcasters.
So, are we swapping any of these, nice spells out for, things that are more violent?
We're actually getting rid of most of the spells, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm just.
So okay, this is fast and dirty. Now we kind of did the dirty part. What about the fast part?
Well, the fast part is, we're basing this off of, the goody two shoe of the co-alt on page 43 of your trusty monster manual. So it's got a speed of 30, a fly of 90. It's a challenge 4. It's 13 hit dice, so pretty high. It's got a lot of cool abilities
That we're dumping.
already built in that are going to work. Other things we're totally going to have to just get rid of. It's not resistant to to radiant, but we're giving it a cone attack that negates magic.
And we would probably give it spell resistance
Right.
if someone does get a spell off on it.
Yeah. It would have spell resistance.
Which is disadvantage to saving throws.
Yeah, you chop off the change shape, you chop off the bite attack, you give it constrict with.
Well, you could take
like,
you could just
necrotic
change you
part.
could just change the bite attack to a horn.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So what's the damage on the bite?
Just a D8. Sorry, D6 plus 5.
Okay, which
Plus-
is fine.
Plus 8 to hit.
Now this also gives them poison attack. The bite is a poison attack as well.
That's okay. Ours isn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but we're making up for in other ways like resistance to
Oh,
magic.
yeah.
Right, which
Oh,
is huge.
Yeah.
It loses a lot of spells, but
They're not useful spells in combat for
they're
the
not.
most
Yeah,
part.
they're not useful to this creature.
It's immune to scrying and any effect that would sense its emotions, read its thoughts, or detect its location.
It has non-detection on it, is what we're going to stack on.
Yeah, we're doing that. Fully immune to any kind of magical finding.
And I don't know. We could do
It's got camouflage, so it has advantage on
stealth checks
Yep,
Stealth checks.
for sure.
stealth
for any
hiding,
environment.
yeah.
Does it have a stealth?
This does not.
So we would just add a stealth, use the dex, give it proficiency.
Yeah, its dex is a 20, so that's already pretty nice.
Yeah, it's impressive.
With 13 dice, what is that usually? A 4. So you're looking at a +9 with advantage.
Which, I mean, advantage is a net of having like a plus 5 or 6. So
looking at 14 on the dice, on average, that's pretty freaking huge.
Yeah, so yeah, and it's an ambush hunter. So it's not for a party by itself. It is not probably going to be very much of a challenge, but for what it's meant for, which is picking off the lone mage, it's going to be very effective. Yeah, and especially when it hits it with the charm attack, where he can lure him off. It's kind of like the idea, and then then it goes for the constrict. Let me hug you.
Yeah. So the charm attack, it's like basically the wizard's like imagining a spell book that it keeps reeling toward it, kind of thing. Like, oh, arcane magic.
Well, it could be, or it could just be anything they desire.
Yeah.
So I see, I see, the abilities, in its full usefulness. It's got all this neat stuff. Its lair can be, littered with magic items. Its skin, its bones, its horn, its eyes, can be harvested for all kinds of, interesting magical components to make cool stuff with.
Its skin can be components for a cloak. Absolutely.
So, and then you're going to find them either in solitary or pairs.
Right.
Yeah.
Because maybe that's part of it too. Maybe they mate for life, and they take a mate, and they they need magic energy to nourish them, but then they also need the magic items that they weave into some kind of bedding or nest, where they lay an egg or whatever they do, and the magic is actually like the incubation.
Right.
Yeah. The arcane energies could be like a cocoon. They could make a cocoon out of it.
And speaking of which, I would say the eggs, an unhatched egg, would also, be incredibly useful.
Well, sure. It's also like, basically having one of these things around would be like a permanent alarm spell against any magical creatures. So yeah, I could definitely see like warlords trying to get a hold of these,
training them.
Yeah, to protect from magical assaults.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, you just gotta feed them a mage.
Yeah.
You're a warlord and you start a magic school. Just so you can, just to feed these guys.
It's okay that you just made it to initiate. It doesn't matter. It's all right. You'll still be useful to the war effort.
It seems you did not pass your exam.
Final exam. But do not fear. Come to our makeup exam.
So it's like the North Korea of magic schools or something.
Something like that.
All right.
I think we've fast and dirtied another monster.
So the Mage Eater sort of lives. Yeah.
Yeah, the Mage Eater lives. Hey guys, what do you think about the Mage Eater? Let us know in the comments below. While you're at it, like, share, and even subscribe.
You can patronize us in a good way over on Patreon.
You can follow us on Twitter.
Yeah, so check us out on Facebook.
Until next time, stay nerdy.